guys, welcome back. Today we're going to knit ourselves a little stuffed heart, and I'm going to be using the Nearly No Sew Stuffed Heart pattern by Marianne Walters, and this is a free pattern from Ravelry, and I like this one. It starts from the bottom and then goes up, and then it uses a magic loop technique. So I have a 32-inch size 5 knitting needle, and I'm going to be using some worsted weight yarn, and I wanted the needle to be smaller than I normally would use on a worsted weight yarn, so that way the stuffing doesn't smush through. So see, look, you don't see any of the stuffing. It has not smushed through, so that's pretty good. All right, so to get started, we're going to use the long tail cast on method, and I'm going to cast on 6 stitches. I got my slip knot, counts as number 1. Okay, so then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, here's 4, and here's 5. So now I've got 6 stitches. So then for magic loop, I'm going to put them in the middle, bend my knitting needle. So I've got 3 stitches on one side and 3 on the other. See, I'm going to pull this out. To start this is always kind of fiddly, but so I wanted you to see. So I have 3 stitches here, 3 stitches here. They are not twisted, which is great. And I'm going to join my circle. Round 1, we're just going to knit all the way around. And I'm going to do my first stitch with the tail and the working yarn held together. So for my magic loop, I'm going to pull the one side of my needle. I know, it looks so scary. And I'm going to insert it into the first stitch to knit. Take both of my ends, and there we have completed stitch number 1. And now I want to pull that snug so I don't get a funky ladder. Also remember, this is the very bottom of the heart, so it's this pointy bit. Okay, and now I'm just going to knit all 6 stitches around. So this is 2 and 3, and now see, pulling on the cable, and then pull the needle out. 3, so now this is 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So, and then I'm going to shove this down here so I can have my live stitches on the shaft of my needle. So this is my first stitch, and see, it's got 2 loops. I'm going to knit those 2 loops because that's my tail and working yarn. I'm going to knit those together as if they are one. Now on round number 2, I'm supposed to knit front back in this stitch, knit 1, knit front back this stitch. Now in her pattern, she's been pretty clever, and you know, normally when you knit front back, you get a knit and a purl. So she's saying you should knit into the front leg, and then when you go into the back leg, instead of knitting it like normal, you would just slip it off. So you still have 2 stitches, but it won't give you that purl bump bar across the front. And then knit 1, and then we're gonna do knit front, and we're gonna slip the back. So this is gonna give us 5 stitches on each half of our heart. And if you want to just knit front back like normal, you can. It's not a big deal. I did on mine. So I don't know if you look closely here on my first one. I did the knit front back like normal, and see it's got like a little bar here and a little bar here, and then you can see one here and here and here. And if you slip the back instead of knitting the back, you omit that little bar across. But if it doesn't matter to you, and certainly it didn't matter to me, and it won't to whomever I give this to, but just so you can see the difference. See, look, this was the purl bump, Here's one, there's one, there's one. Okay. So we'll try this way where we're gonna knit the front and we're gonna slip the back and then knit one. And again, we'll knit the front and slip the back. And you know, it's kind of fun to try something new, see how it works. This could be like the coolest knitting tip of the day. Okay, so then now we've got this round. I think it's just a knit all the way around. Let me check. Yes, this one we are going to knit all the way around. So we have one, look, and then the extra, whoops, come on. All right, so then that goes away, because that's, there's one, and then here we go. So we should have 10 stitches total, 5 on each half of your needle. Shove it on there. Now, magic loop to start is always kind of like fiddly and weird, but once you get going, you know, you get into a groove. It's pretty groovy stuff. It's pretty cool. It's nice when you get back to traveling, if you're knitting on airplanes, it's nice to know magic loop and feel comfortable, because then you will be much less likely to drop your DPNs all over the seat and then have to go like nudging the person in the chair next to you while you're crawling around the floor looking for your drop knitting needles. Not speaking from experience or anything. Okay, so we've got our 10 stitches, and let's see here. Oh boy, that's a little loose. Whatever. Okay, so we won't be nitpicky about it because I'm pretty sure that'll go away. So then on this round, round 4, we're going to knit one, and then we're gonna knit front, slip the back, and then we're going to do that 3 times. Knit in the front, slip the back. Knit in the front, slip the back. Yeah, knit in the front, yep. Slip the back, and knit the last stitch. So then you end up with 3, 6, 7, 8 stitches on each needle, or on each side of your heart. So you'll end up at the end of this round, you will have 16 stitches. So this half, we're going to knit one. Remember, knit in the front, slip the back. Whoops. Knit in the front and slip the back. Knit in the front and slip the back. And we're going to knit our last stitch. And then round 5, we are now going to knit all of our stitches. See, it goes pretty fast once we get going. Also, the next few rounds are going to be pretty repetitive. So you'll get the hang of this pretty quickly. It becomes pretty good social stitching. And it's nice because it's a short project. Speaking of social stitching, keep forgetting to tell you, we do have Zoom stitching every Wednesday and Thursday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. on our Eastern time, which currently is daylight savings. So we're supposed to be Greenwich Mean Time -5. So this is our plain round. But you all are welcome to join anytime. If you would like to join any of our Zoom stitching on a Wednesday or Thursday evening from 7 to 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time or Daylight Savings Time, just send us an email at lovelyarns@gmail.com and we will send you the Zoom link. We do like to use the same links every week. So if you get the Zoom link, save it. And please feel free to reuse whatever. Okay, so then now rows 6 and 7 are going to get repeated until you have 20 stitches per needle, or rather 40 stitches all the time. So right now we have 8 on this side, 8 on the other side, and so you'll want to repeat rows 6 and 7 until you have 20 here and 20 here. So row 6 is we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit front back. So remember, knit 1, slip the back, and then we're going to knit over until there are 2 stitches left. And then we're going to knit the front and slip the back, or whoops, slip the back. There we go. And then knit our last stitch and flip. And then on this side, we'll do the same. So see, you've got 3, 6, 7, 8 stitches. So then after we do the 2 increases, we'll have 10 per side. So this is 1. So we're gonna knit in the front and slip the back. And then we've got 1, knit over until there are 2 stitches left on the needle. Okay, and then we're going to knit in the front, and we're gonna slip the back, knit the last stitch. All right, so that's round 6. We have 10 stitches on each needle. And then round 7 is just plain knit all the way around. Okay? And then you'll repeat rounds 6 and 7 until you have 20 stitches on each needle. And then we'll see you back when you have 20 stitches on the front needle and 20 stitches on your back needle. Okay, and the last round that you will have done, it will be a plain knit round. So remember, repeat the increase round and the plain round until you have 20 stitches on your needle. Okay, so now we've completed row 6 and 7 until there's 20 stitches on this side and 20 stitches on this side. So now for what is supposed to be row 18, it's knit another plain round, so we'll take care of that. Do our plain round again, because we just finished a plain round, so now we're doing another one. And then after this round, then we're going to split for our heart bumps, and we're going to do one side and then we'll do the other. I know it sounds scary, splitting for the heart bumps, but it'll be fine, I promise. Go. So this is our first 20 stitches. So now switching, going on this side. I know lots of zhuzhing around with the magic loop. Ooh, zhuzhing. Okay, and then this and here. Almost to the end. Getting there, getting there. Okay. All right, finished our round. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to do our setup round. So here, this will be our front needle. We're going to knit 10 stitches, slide these on waste yarn, slide these 10 on waste yarn, and then knit these. Okay. All right, so let's get going. So we'll knit our first 10. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, here's 8, 9, and 10. And I've got a tapestry needle, and we'll grab, whoa. Sorry, everything's on the table. Okay, here we go. Got our tapestry needle and a piece of waste yarn in a contrasting color. This is the color that I used for this heart. And okay, so now thread our tapestry needle here like so, and I'm going to slide these 10 stitches onto this piece of waste yarn. Easy peasy. 1, here's 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So see, hanging out. And then I'm gonna slide the needle over onto this back, and I'm gonna slide the first 10 stitches on this needle onto our waste yarn here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is 8, 9, 10. Okay, slide these all on here. All right, I'm just gonna let my waste yarn just sort of hang out. And we're going to pull this needle out, and we're gonna connect these to go in the round, and we're gonna knit these last 10 stitches. So I'm gonna pull on this first one a little snug after I've started knitting it, or after I finished knitting it, so I don't get a weird ladder right in the middle of the heart. And I suppose it's okay if you do get a weird ladder, because you just sew it up later, but it is nice not to give yourself extra finishing work. Okay, so then that's the setup round complete. So now just working on these 20 stitches only. So these 20 stitches here, we're gonna knit plain for 2 rounds. Okay, so zhuzh our needle back in here. Get in there, good gracious. Okay, pull this out and go ahead, and we're gonna knit these 2 rounds. And I'll see you when we're done knitting those 2 rounds. Okay, so we did our 2 plain rounds. So now we're gonna do some decreases. First, we're going to knit 1, then knit 2 together. So we're gonna do knit 1, and we're gonna knit these 2 together. And then we're gonna knit 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, knit these 2 together, and then knit 1. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Zhuzh, zhuzh, zhuzh. Pull the needle out, and bam. Okay, so, and then it's 1, and knit 2 together, and then knit 4, 1, 2, 4, and untangle my fingers from the yarn. All right, so then we're gonna knit 2 together and knit 1. Okay, so that's decrease round number 1. So your heart should look like this. And then we're gonna do a plain round. So we went from 10 stitches on each one of our needles to 8 stitches. So now we're gonna go plain around for these 16 stitches total. I know it goes really quick now, because now it's just like the little end bits. I like when it goes fast. Fast is good. Okay. people will tell you, oh, it's just knitting, it's not a race. I feel like it's always a race. But no, take your time, go at your own speed, because it really is not a race. I just happen to knit fast, I suppose. Okay, here we are. And then for the following round, now we have 2 more decrease rounds and then we're done. Okay, so now we're going to knit 1, knit 2 together again. So we'll do 1, and then we're gonna knit 2 together. We're gonna knit the 2 center stitches, 1 and 2, and then we'll knit these 2 together here, and then knit 1. Okay, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Pull this out. So then we knit 1, we're gonna knit 2 together. Knit 2, so here's 1 and 2, and then we're going to knit 2 together, and then we're going to knit 1. Okay, so then this is our last round. We're going to end up with 4 stitches on each side, because right now we've got 6. So we're going to do 1, knit 2 together, knit 2 together, knit 1. Okay, here we go. So we've got 1, and then get in there. Okay, so here's 2 together, and come on. Here we are. 2 together, and 1. All right, 4 stitches on this side. Now we're gonna do 4 stitches on this side. Okay, so this half of the heart bump was pretty easy. Guess what? The other side, we're gonna do just the same. So the only fiddly bit on the other side is when we're picking up. So this is 2, and together, and 1. Okay, so I've got 4 and 4. So I wanna give myself a good sized tail here. Good sized tail. And I'm gonna run the tail through the live stitches, but I am not gonna pull shut because this is where we're gonna shove the stuffing at the end. 2, 3, 4. So you wanna pull the working yarn through, but you wanna leave it still nice and loose. Okay, so then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that through, and we're just gonna leave that open nice and loose. So now we're gonna pick up the stitches that are on our waist yarn. So and I want to pick up 10 on each side. So this is 2, 3, 4. And see, I'm just sliding right in along my piece of waist yarn. So I've got 3, 6, 7. Here we go, 8, 9. Here's 10. I'm gonna pull this loose, and then I'm gonna tug out. See, if I pull it so the wire is just through as opposed to the needle shaft, it makes it real easy to pull out 1/2 of the working yarn, or 1/2 of the waist yarn. See, loop out. So I've got my 10 stitches here. Now all I gotta do is put these 10 stitches on, and then we'll pick up an extra stitch here in the crack to close up this hole. Sort of like how you do on socks, you know, or on thumbs on mittens. I know we haven't done socks or mitten tutorials on our YouTube channel yet, but have no fear, we will. This year, we will make it happen. know, it's funny, you know, I'm so used to having classes in the shop, and then this year, like, we really didn't have any because of COVID. So trying to get our class material on our YouTube channel, bit by bit. So we've got 3, 6, 9, and 10. I'm gonna slide my needle so it's just the cable through here. Makes it much easier to pull out the working yarn. Okay, so I want to grab, what I really want to do is I want to pick up an extra stitch at the top here, and I want to grab, so see, this is the top. So I want to grab this leg here, and see this, so here, pull this out. So I want to grab this leg and this leg to sort of close this up. So I'll grab this leg here, and then I'm going to go on this side. Come on, grab that leg. I can put them on here like this, and I'm going to knit these two together. To get my needles situated. Always with the needles situated. Okay, and so these are the 2 stitches that we picked up at the top of our gap, and I'm going to knit them together. So I've just looped my working yarn around here. I'm going to pull these through. Okay, so boom, that's it, just knitted together. And then, okay, so we had knit these 2 together, and then my phone died while I was going to knit the rest. So all right, so we'll just knit these around. This is going to be a plain round. So this is the same as the, I just figure we're going to make 3 plain rounds, including this one, because that's sort of what we did for the other half. Because remember, for our setup round, like those knits, that counts. You know, we kind of want it to match. Okay, so we're doing this. Whoosh, whoosh. Lots of zhuzhing, so much zhuzhing, and just shoving the end down in. Okay, and then pull this out, and here we go. Whoosh. I know, making the sound somehow makes it better. I don't know why, but it does. Okay, so let's quickly get over to where we have put in our extra stitch at the crack, because then the beginning of the following round, we're going to knit 2 together again. Okay, so then here we are. So then this is, I'm going to pull this a little snug, push this through. Here we go. Woo. Push. Okay. Pull that end snug. So see what we did where we close this up? That looks a little bit better. And then when you're done, if you still want to close that further, you can always add an extra stitch or 2. See, and then I took my tails from this and this, and I pulled them through and made it so like a hanger. So it's like an ornament. Probably give it to my mom. Hi, Mom. Okay. My mom is on the other side of the country from me, and I haven't seen her in a year, which is too long. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. So I have 11 and I need to get 10. So you know what? We're going to knit 2 together again. So then this is the last decrease I'm making here at this crack for this extra stitch. So now we're back down to the number of stitches we're supposed to. So then this is the beginning of where on the pattern it says knit 2 rounds, because technically the round we just completed was equivalent to our setup round. So we'll do 2 plain rounds, and then we'll do our decreases again, just like we did for the other side, for the first side. So then I trust that you can repeat what we did over here. So then I will see you back when you're done. Okay, so I've got my second heart bump done. So now you can see, look, looks like this. Okay, so I'm gonna leave myself a long tail, longer than I need. And I'm gonna sling this through all the lad stitches. Excuse me. And then we're going to stuff our heart and then tuck in any ends that need tucked, and then see about this join in the middle if it needs an extra stitch to close it up. So we're gonna slide 1, 2, 3, 4 onto the tapestry needle. Oops. Okay, and all right, so there's 4. I'm just gonna whoosh. Come on, 2, 3, 4. Okay, got them all. I know, it's very daring. All right, so now I've got the 2 open ends here where the stuffing is gonna go. Yeah, it looks like I might wanna sew that up, but after I'm done stuffing. We'll see how it looks. But it's definitely better than having a big gaping hole. That is for sure. So let's grab a big handful of polyfil, because it always takes more than you think it's going to. All right, and we're gonna shove the stuffing in. And you can make your heart as plump as you like. You know, it's all a matter of personal preference. I like mine kind of plump, but not like overly plump, I suppose. Goldilocks plump. Okay, here we are. So, and then look, then you pull on your tail, whoosh, and there it is. Look at that. And then if you think you want it plumper, you can always like grab your tapestry needle and open this back up again and shove some more stuffing in. That's pretty good. All right, so then we'll see how the other side looks. Fiber felt stuff, it's like gremlins, it just keeps growing. It expands, just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I guess if you wanted to weight it, like if you wanted to do like Valentine cornhole or something, you could get, those beads, like those craft weighted beads to stick in here. I suppose that would work too. Okay, is one side plumper than the other? No, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so then got my tail, and I'm gonna pull this shut. Pull that shut. Hey, so that's pretty good. And you can sort of mush this to shape it. So that's pretty good. So here's one side, here's the other side. Oh, look at that. We'll have to do some smushing, shaping over here on this side. All right. So now we'll put this away. Let's tidy up our area. We'll put our knitting needles away. And okay, with our waste yarn, with the ends, it's not waste yarn now. So I'm gonna pull this snug, and then I go back down in the middle, and I think I do wanna have like an extra stitch here. So I'm gonna pull my needle through, and I can just sew this across here, sew it across under here. And then, you know, you can make yours look however you want. You don't have to do exactly how I am doing. You know, there's no rule. You get to make your own design decisions. So look, I just snug it up. I'm gonna leave this hang because I like the idea that it could hang up and be like a little ornament. So there's one side. So now I'm gonna do the same thing with this other side. So we'll thread our little needle. Hello, needle. All right, and yes, it does help to talk to your tools. And look, see, you can push that together. There we go. And we'll slide this through, and we'll go, come on, we'll slide it through down here. So slide through down here because it's sort of in the middle. And then if I go across, so if I go across the middle, under this part of the heart, and come back out where I went in, then my strand should be opposite. Oh, look at that, it's on the opposite side. Perfect. Okay, so then now I can tie a little knot so it stays put. Okay, so it's gonna whoosh, stay put. And that's about right. So we'll just tie a little knot up at the top. This is a real loose knot. So whomever you give this to can probably untie this and make a bow if they want. And now I'm gonna trim the ends so they are even Stevens. And ta-da! Hooray! We have made a heart. So look, so I have 2. Yay, hearts! Hooray for love. Okay, so that is it. That's how we do our little knitted heart. You can make as many as you like, give them to your friends, to family. You can mail them to folks who are far away that you haven't seen for a while. I hope you enjoyed our video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and happy stitching!